There's a quote that Andrew Cleland likes that's attributed to Hannibal when he was told by his generals that they couldn't cross the Alps. And Hannibal famously said, "We'll either find a way or make a way." And John, throughout his career, has either found a way or made a way.
The story of my life, especially the story of the CyberKnife, was one of just repeated failure. And what success I had was really predicated on that commitment to not quitting.
So CyberKnife was a groundbreaking build on John's experience with Lars Lexel in Scandinavia. People that got stereotactic radiosurgery had this big halo bolted to their head, and that was the only way that you could deliver beams of radiation that coalesced in the middle of the pincushion. What John said was we could take robotic precision and eliminate that and simply target based on an image, and that is absolutely groundbreaking.
The Gamma Knife was almost a magical procedure from my vantage point. Patients who would literally linger in the intensive care unit in the hospital for weeks, if not months, after some type of operations were treated as near outpatients at the Karolinska with the Gamma Knife, and I said, this is just too cool not to be part of. But it was also pretty clear that what Lars Lexel had created, involved this frame on the head, would only work on the head. And I said, well, if this whole concept works so well in the brain, it clearly could work anywhere in the body. And so it became my mission to take what Lexel had developed for the brain and make it apply to the whole body. The CyberKnife has gone on to really define what modern radiotherapy is all about. Tom Fogarty, God bless him, was really one of the early people who helped recognize the potential importance of what I'm doing. He gave me some money. Tom very much understood that invention by itself is an incomplete creation, and that to take an idea, an invention, to change the lives of patients does require a commitment to the process of commercialization. And that process is filled with failure. He understood that failure was an intrinsic part of what I was embarking upon. And so what the CyberKnife story is one of failure, but ultimate triumph.
John has remained true to his roots as a practicing real doctor neurosurgeon, while at the same time using the insights that are gathered from that to deliver them either with CyberKnife at Accuray or with ZapSurgical.
You know, I'm afraid to appear too idealistic because then no one really believes you. But what really kept me going was patience. And so I believed in radiosurgery so much, and day after day after day, I was reminded how important it was by patients facing severe life-threatening problems and challenges. And I wanted to make sure that all my work in the end made their life in some way a little bit better.
I had a cervical spine AVM, and it became apparent in the 5th grade when I had a bleed, lots of neck pain, sickness, partial paralysis. You know, at that point, I was flown across the country. The specialists who we talked to were like, anything we try to do is a really high risk of some sort of permanent paralysis. So from the 5th grade onwards, I sort of just lived with the AVM condition. I was skeptical I would have much of a able-bodied life after the age of 35 or 40. And then I had a second bleed when I was 18. And again, a lot of neck pain, partial paralysis. And, you know, it spent then after the 18, sort of a year kind of recovering. And then I'm about to enroll as a freshman at Stanford and get introduced to Dr. Adler, and was very surprised that someone was saying, hey, there's a procedure, right, that we think could help you. It's like remarkable to be born like at a period of time where you're right on the bubble, right on the margin of an emerging technology. And so I was super hopeful, actually being able to have a wonderful marriage, a new kid, a dog, all these day-to-day things that like really bring me a lot of joy, I'm convinced would not be a part of my life if I hadn't had CyberKnife.
As much as I am proud of what I did with the CyberKnife, I look back and I realize that we were treating less than 1 in 10 of patients who would benefit from these kinds of treatments. To me, that just seemed unacceptable. So I was determined to make a technology that would allow us to treat the other 90% of patients who are not being treated. So the ZapX was created to address that need, treat 9 out of 10 patients who are being treated today, and do it by creating a simpler to use, lower cost technology. I mean, the idea that this technology has purpose in the world has been everything to me. And I was either fortunate or unfortunate to be the right guy at the right time at the right place to have to make these technologies. And while it was not an easy path, I recognize the responsibility I have to try to do these things because, as I like to say, if I don't do it, I don't know who else will do it. And in the end, I think that attitude has meant a lot to my own patients and hopefully the patients around the world.